We're up on Washington football today live. Julie Donaldson, Santana Moss here with you. We had a little bit of the weekend off. My jury duty, which was yesterday, and I'm getting moved a little bit. But here we are now, ready to bring you some news and notes from the day. How are you feeling today, Santana?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good. You have a nice weekend?
I had a great weekend. I thought about you yesterday. I was like, I wonder if she get out of jury duty, and you told me you did.
So his best advice for me to get out of jury duty was.
Tell him it was a conflict of interest. You knew whoever it was that you were sitting there in court for.
It sounds like you've done this before.
Well, I haven't done it personally, but someone did it to me.
Okay.
So.
I did manage to get out of it, folks, because I moved, because camp is here in Ashburn, and I want to make sure I am here next to all the action. Players are taking the field. Practice is about to start, so it is time for our warm-up. And, well, you know, not many teams have to take a speech from coach like this team did just a few days ago, and that was where head coach Rivera, before a walkthrough, before their day off, decided it was the right time, after knowing for a few weeks, Tana, that he was diagnosed with cancer and is going to have to undergo treatments that will be something that could potentially take him away from the team. It's a hard lesson. When I talked to the guys, their reaction was that they were shocked.
Yeah, I mean, we all were. And, you know, just being on the outside looking in, all you can do is say you're going to pull for coach, and you're going to hope that everyone can do the same thing. Just support them, love them, and just know, man, you have to take every day just that serious, because, you know, you never know, you know.
And he's told his players now, he says, look, you have to make sure that you are careful during COVID, because he needs that now more than ever. He needs his players to step up now more than ever. Well, right after he gave that announcement, I had the opportunity to talk with Coach about how he decided to tell the news, what it means for his family. Here it is. Rivera, thank you for joining us for this. We know this is not a conversation that you have wanted to have, but you did address the team last night announcing your news. And the world kind of got it at the same time. The fans, the staff, people are having a hard time kind of trying to digest this. You've had a little bit of extra time to get that, but now that the news is kind of out there, how are you and your family doing?
We're doing well. We really are, Julie. I think the biggest thing, more than anything else, and part of the reason, you know, wanting to get the message out was to get it out the right way. You know, we wanted to make sure people understood that, you know, what I am afflicted with right now is most certainly a very treatable and very curable disease. I'm very fortunate. You know, I have what's called squamous cell sarcoma. It is a cancer. It did get into my lymph node, and it's a very treatable one. There's been a very high success rate. So I fall into that category. And so there's an opportunity for us to take care of this and be able to go forward.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you can expect from the treatment? And how is this going to impact, you know, your daily life of having to try and run a football team?
Well, the biggest thing more than anything else is, you know, first of all, as we continue to finish mapping out what the process is going to be, what the treatments are going to be like, my understanding is, you know, I will treat every day for 5 days a week for 7 weeks, 35 treatments. And, you know, we're going to be doing some therapy, some proton therapy. There will be some other stuffs involved with it. But again, we've got some of the finest doctors in this area. We're very fortunate to live in this area. And what's going to be the tough part most certainly will be just trying to manage time. You know, I hope to be able to do these treatments and not have them interfere with football. It's been recommended that I continue to work at a good pace, a smart pace, you know, listen to what the doctors tell me, follow the protocols. You know, it's kind of like what we're supposed to be doing today, you know, follow the protocols, wear your mask. Well, follow the protocols, do your treatment, do the other therapy they have you doing, and just follow it. And so that's what we intend to do. And again, as I said, hopefully with the way things will be mapped out, it won't be in the way. You know, it won't interfere with football, but it'll be part of my rehab, and that is to keep working, to stay focused on my treatment, my personal health, but at the same time, distract myself when I need to.
How are you physically feeling now?
You know, that's the thing, and it's funny because Dr. Castellaro asked me how I was feeling, and I said, you know, honestly, I'm a little bit angry. You know, I'm not quite sure how this happened. This is the healthiest I've felt in a long, long time, in all honesty. I mean, I lost some weight. I've been working out, doing things the right way. Had a great summer. I really did. You know, we took about 20 days off. You know, went out to California to visit my family, got COVID tested so I could go see my parents, you know, saw my brothers and their families. And so really just got into a really good place, and then got home, and unfortunately, you know, I was diagnosed with this. And but physically, you know, I felt good. I thought practice has been going well. I had good energy with the players. You know, we've been practicing at an up tempo, and, you know, been doing the thing that I normally do. And so I was really disappointed and surprised. concerned, scared at times. But truthfully, I feel good. I am looking forward to getting into the therapies and following the protocols and getting this taken care of.
You said it was because of a self-check. I mean, when did you first realize that there was something wrong, and to know that this is something that you need to have checked out as well?
Well, Julie, it was interesting because I was shaving one morning, and as I was shaving, I felt a little bit of a lump, and so I kind of thought about it. The next morning when I was getting up, I kind of felt a little strain in my neck when I turned. I thought maybe I pulled something, and I thought that might have been it. So I kind of checked it, kept an eye on it. I treated it like I would, pulled muscle, and it didn't go away. So I reached out to Dr. Castellaro, the team doctor. He had me come in. He took a look at me. He said, well, let's keep an eye on it, and I'll see you next week. And then I came back next week, and it hadn't gone down like we had hoped. So he went and got me checked, and after a couple other follow-up checkups, it was determined that I was stricken with cancer.
You wanted to tell this news to your team first, and
Yes.
to make sure that your guys knew what you were going through, what you were dealing with. But because you have known this for a few weeks on your timing, what is it that made the timing now the right time for you?
Well, because it really took about 3 weeks to get everything in line. And I wanted to make sure everything was as close to being ready to go as possible. The people here at Nova have been tremendous. At the Cancer Center, it's been just great. And so we've been able to kind of put things into place, and we're getting ready to finish up what the protocols will be, what the treatments will be like. And so that was, I felt, a good time. It gives guys enough time to kind of digest it. I wanted to do it the walkthrough before their day off, so they'd have time to get away. They wouldn't have to answer a lot of questions from a lot of other people, and so they could take care of that situation and then get back and get focused back on football. And I wanted to make sure they knew that I have the opportunity to be well, to be healthy, and to be rid of this. And it's just going to take a matter of time. So I wanted to do that and share that with them. And once I shared it with them, I knew it was going to break. So we wanted to, try to get the messaging out that, hey, this is a serious situation, but we caught it early because I did a self-check. I followed up with the doctors, and the doctors followed up with me. I think it's so important everybody understands that we have good health care in this country, and you need to take advantage of it.
I've talked to multiple players already about how that meeting went, what their reaction was. And every single one of them came back to me with the exact same word, that they were shocked. And they just didn't know how to react. They didn't know what to say. They're trying to process these emotions as well. They're trying to process, what does this mean for us and what we're trying to do? How do you even go into kind of having that conversation and the follow-up conversations that you have to have with them as well?
It's gone through my mind over and over and over again, how was I going to do it? How was I going to do it? So what I did was I had a meeting before with the players, before we went out to work out. And I kind of left them with a little bit of a message at the end. And that's basically, you can have everything taken away from you but one thing, and that's your right to choose, and choose how you're going to approach things in your life. They can't take away your opportunity to choose your attitude. And I left that with the players. And when I brought them back in, I gave them the news. And I said, look, I still control my attitude. I control my outlook, the way I'm going to approach this. And so I just wanted to share that message with them. I think that helped. I think it helped them. I think it helped me more so than anything else. And then, I started getting text messages from the players. There were some really cool ones. But one that I really appreciated was from Alex Smith. And I texted Alex back and told him, I said, look, with a guy like you, I find strength. And I really do, because a young man who's gone through what he's gone through, and he wants to wish you the best, it's easier to find strength in a guy like that.
We as a team, as a company, are going to try and find ways that we can handle this as well going forward. And, everybody knows somebody in their life that's impacted by cancer, that they've lost somebody by cancer. You yourself have you lost your brother to cancer. Is that something that when you get this news that makes you pause for a minute at what you're facing?
Yes, it did, because, the thing I really didn't want to do was tell my mother, more so than anything else. But in my opportunity to speak with my mom and get my point across that, hey, I'm going to be fine. I've got every opportunity. I've got great doctors. There's been a good prognosis. Now it's a matter of getting through the treatments and the therapies. And so I was able to put her mind at ease. And then talk to my father, and my father, having been a Vietnam veteran, an Army veteran, he took it just in stride, like I had a feeling he would. And when he understood, when I explained to him, and he understood what I was going to be faced with, I think he realized that, hey, I have a good opportunity to get healthy again. So it's just a matter of following the protocols.
You mentioned time's going to be a concern going forward, but going through treatments is going to be a demand on your body.
Yes.
And already camp is a demand on your body and your mental capacity to be able to handle it and get through all of that. Where do you go to try and say, how do I manage my time? I mean, we've seen different coaches that have gone through this, Chuck Pagano with leukemia going through this and having to get treatments and still trying to be there with the team. Like, where do you draw that strength from?
Well, it's interesting because Chuck was one of the guys that reached out to me last night. We texted back and forth, and it was really awesome. And again, I honestly, when I first was getting ready to be diagnosed, I said a little prayer. And then after being diagnosed, I said a little prayer. So I do find strength in reaching out and speaking to God. And again, that's one of the places that I will go. Family, I'm going to get a tremendous amount of strength from family and my extended family, from the folks here in this organization, to my friends that I have all over this, this great world. I'll reach out to those folks, and again, I'm getting a lot of positive messages right now. So there are people that do care, and people that do want to try and give you some strength, so you can rely on them, and that's been very uplifting, And again, I knew, I didn't want this to become the distraction that it can become. So I wanted to get it out early, and I do know that my time is going to be limited in certain aspects. The other thing that's been great and tremendous too has been how Mr. and Mr. Snyder have reacted. Mr. Snyder's basically told me, he said, hey, do what you can. And if you need to back off, back off. Whatever you want to do for your health's sake, do it. And so I had a great conversation with our coaches today. I talked to the coordinators. And Jack Del Rio went through something like this when he was in Denver with John Fox. Coach Fox had a situation, and Jack went through it, and Jack had to take lead on a couple things. And so Jack and I had a nice talk today, and he was terrific because he's been through it. And so I feel comfortable and confident about, our plans going forward. And if anything were to happen where I had to step away for a second, I feel very comfortable, very confident in who our coordinators are as well.
I know Dan and Tanya Snyder, they sent out a letter to the team saying that they support you. And I had lengthy conversations with them. And I know they did with a lot of the leadership board here at the company, the franchise, on wanting to say that they wanted to respect you going through this, what you wanted to go through this, to give you the support to go through this. And they want the company to feel supported as well. Because it is something that's emotional. It is something that impacts a lot of lives, knowing that you physically and your family are going to be going through this as well. But there has to be another plan. And I know you just kind of mentioned a little bit, like, what is the backup plan? What is it for that day where you say, you know what, it might be too much. I might need to just step back, take care of my health, and leave football to somebody else for the day.
Well, the interesting thing about it, Julie, is one of the first things the doctors told me is, hey, look, we're don't stop working. Do what you can. It helps. We found that people that kept themselves busy, stayed focused on what they do, helps them. It helps distract from the situation and circumstance they're in. And they did say too, but there will be a time. You may have to step away for a day or two, or maybe a week or two. But you can't be afraid to do that, because it is about your health. And we find that people that are able to do that when they need to are the ones that get healthier faster. So again, I'm going to stick to the protocols. I'm going to listen to the doctors. I'm going to do things the right way. If it does come to that, again, as I said, Julie, had a great conversation with Jack. I've talked with Scott, and I've talked with Nate. And the one thing that Jack said that, he and I really were discussing was, it's about making sure everybody does their job. Everybody has their job. And what may happen is, at one point or time, somebody may have to step up and say, okay, guys, this is a scheduling. This is how we're going to do it. This is what we're looking for. And this is what's expected. Now let's go out and get it done. And, and again, it's really, my messaging, but Jack may be the one that has to step up front and do it. So again, we've talked about that. We're prepared to do that. And I think, again, the one thing too is that we'll put a bit of the onus on the players. This is, a little something that as a coach, you always hope that the players buy in and they take ownership of situations, circumstances. This might be a great test to find out exactly where we are in this process of developing this football team. Are these guys ready to step up and take ownership on something?
You came in broad shoulders, thick skin, and you come in to turn around a team with 3 wins. COVID hits, the team name change happens. We're trying to get this going in the right direction. And now this, are you just a magnet for drama? When you look back at this year, is there anything you can pull on? Say, I swear, I feel like when I took this job, we were saying, finally, it's just football, and all of that is behind us. And no, it's taken to a new level now.
It is. It has been taken to another level. And that's the thing that I've kind of found interesting, is that, we've been able to cope with and deal with and just keep going forward. And sometimes it's through the adversity that we gain strength, and that's something that we need to take this as an opportunity for us to grow and become stronger. And again, my approach will be that I just really believe that, we do get tried. We are tested. And as I said, a guy like Alex Smith, for having gone through what he has and has shared a message with me, I truly do find strength in people like that, especially a young man like Alex.
I've had a lot of fans already reach out to me wanting to know how they can support you. What do you say to those fans?
I appreciate it. I really, truly do. I mean, just whatever you can do, I truly, I mean, I don't know what to say, but I appreciate their thoughts. I've gotten some great messages from a lot of people that I've known and, heard a lot of nice things. And just, that the best thing that we all can do is just, do our jobs, do what we're supposed to do.
Well, they are here for you. I know the team is here from you. That is the one thing the players said as well. Well, they were shocked that they want to make sure that they don't let you down through this process as well. Look, it makes us stronger. And in the end, we know that's going to happen. We appreciate you talking with us, sharing this. We know it's not something easy to discuss, but maybe it also encourages somebody else to do a self-check. And if there is something that they say, wait a second, maybe we need to get this checked out before it comes too late. So thank you on that level for sharing your story.
I appreciate it, Julian. Thank you for helping put this out.
All right, go to. Of course, we appreciate Coach taking time out to talk to us about it because everybody had questions. They care. They want to know, make sure that he's fine. But now it is back to football as usual. He wants to make sure every day that he can be with this team, that he's with the team, Santana.
Very important.
Very important. Especially for the guys out there that are putting their bodies on the line to make sure that they can go out there and play because week 1 is coming very soon. When we come back here on Washington Football Live, we're going to talk a little bit about the defense and the plan should Rivera not be able to go this season about Jack Del Rio taking over.
This summer, get back in the driver's seat. Your Honda dealer is open and ready to get you into a new Honda today. Like the versatile HR-V or the fun-to-drive CR-V. Visit the Honda Summer Clearance Event and get a great deal from Honda, KBB.com's 2020 Best Value Brand. Get a great deal on the CR-V at the Honda Summer Clearance Event today.
A moment of joy. A source of inspiration, an act of kindness, an old friend, a new beginning, some welcome relief, or a cause for celebration. What's inside? Possibilities. What we deliver by delivering.
Time for the X's presented by Pepsi on Washington Football Live. Julie Donaldson, Santana Moss. Santana, when the team gets the news, like head coach Ron Rivera tells them that he's going to have to go through treatments, and he was very clear to say, look, this is something that they say is 95% treatable, curable. He should be fine, but still he's going to have to go through a lot of treatments, a lot of therapy. It's going to wear and tear on his body. You're trying to get the unit of this team together. Mm-hmm. Does this something that can help bring extra camaraderie together for a team?
I truly believe so. I never had this experience of being a player that had a coach that gave us this news, first of all, and then may have to step down. But I can honestly think that just from different experiences that I've seen throughout the sports as a whole, this is actually going to give these guys a chance to really collectively come together and do it all, do it all for Ron and do it because, they understand how precious life is.
One of the next practices that they came back to, because he gave the news before they had an off day, he reamed the team out afterwards as well because he didn't think that everybody was giving their full effort. They didn't do well enough. And he's then since talked to the team saying, look, we can't take plays off, days off, moments off. And he's also saying the same thing, he's not going to. He doesn't intend to do that. There may be days he physically cannot go. But does that also then as a player, I meant to say, okay, if coach is going through all this, and maybe I was a little bit slower on that play, I wouldn't think you need the extra motivation, but apparently at times you do.
It put things in perspective. When you see a coach going through what he's going through, being optimistic as he has been, and he's still showing up, what reason do you have to take off? What reason should you be out here not giving it your all? So that's why I say, collectively, these guys have to understand that if my coach can sit here and endure the things that he's enduring, some of the things that we might not even see that he's going through when it comes to his treatments and when those take place, and I'm out here complaining about the heat or my legs or how things are going, I need to shape up or be shipped, or I'm going to be shipped out. So I think these guys can honestly take that and use that as motivation. And that's why I think collectively these guys are really going to use that and fuel this season on just knowing what the coach is going through, and they're going to fight with him and show him that, with all that's been going on and what you're going through, we're not going to let you down.
You have to have, I would imagine, good, strong leadership for that to happen. Otherwise, it could maybe work the opposite way. Could it work to where it could become a distraction and maybe divisive in a team?
I doubt it'd be a distraction. I think when it comes to who they have on staff as coaches, they would definitely let them know it's business as usual. At the end of the day, they all going to have coach in mind. It's only natural for you to be thinking about him every step of the way. But they have a goal. They all want to see themselves be that team that coach has, been given the job to bring this team back to be. So I know with the other coaches on the staff, they're going to make sure they keep, re-emphasis, to those guys that, hey, we have to go out here and do our job and put everything else behind us.
I think sometimes we take for granted the demand that this game takes. I mean, when you're in the season, you maybe get Tuesday off, but then even then you're having to do appearances and do a lot of community events as well. And for a head coach, there really are no days off. The season is just that. It demands all of your time. And he's going to have to take some time out to be able to make sure that he can take care of himself physically. And I'm sure his family's going to be telling him that as well. So you don't see often head coaches stepping away unless they absolutely have to. And if we take a look at some of the situations and teams where coaches have, of course, you have Chuck Pagano. When he was the coach, it was his first time as the head coach. When he was diagnosed with leukemia in September of 2012, took an indefinite leave of absence, underwent 3 months of treatment. Bruce Arians came in and led them for the next 12 games and went 9-3.
Yeah. I mean, when you think of situations like that, that gives you hope that this team can really go out there and still be the team that Ron wants them to be and that they all hope to be. But you have to just understand that just because we're going through something similar that we've seen another team go through, that doesn't mean that things are going to be easy for us. The road is always tougher. And that's why, I commend Coach for being, as optimistic, because he understands life. He understands this is just another roadblock that we have to find a way to get through.
And as he said, Chuck Pagano was one of the first to reach out to him and to be kind of lend a hand on what to kind of expect through that. You also have some other cases. Eric Berry was a player when he went. James Conner was diagnosed in college with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Both came back to have pretty good impacts, but not without a large fight. When it does come to players and how they are taking this with their coach, well, John Allen was asked about that, and he pretty much had the best answer that every player would follow.
When he said that, it definitely took us by surprise a little bit, but based on the move he gave, he's very confident. They caught it early, is not aggressive. That's really all he kind of said. For me personally, I just got to pray for him. And I mean, just looking at him, I would have never known if he would have never told us, but that's definitely something that you take seriously. And like I said, you've got to pray for him and just hope for the best and just continue to he's our guy. So we're behind him strong.
And when there's a situation like that, as a group of players, do you guys get together and talk about ways that you can help him just by doing your job or anything like that? Like, what are the discussions like amongst yourselves?
Amongst ourselves, it's really kind of the same vibe. You really just want to keep him in your prayers, continue to work. But at the end of the day, we're going to do our job. And that's why we're here, to do our job and do it at a high level. Obviously, you don't want to go out there and be a problem guy in general. But, I mean, when something like this is going on, the biggest thing I can really say is you just got to keep him in your prayer, because regardless of what's going on with him, I'm going to try to do my job to the best ability, regardless of anyone else's circumstance or anything. So that won't change the way I feel about doing my job, because at the end of the day, I have to do a job and I have to do it well. So that's always been my thought, drive.
It's a message and a sentiment that everybody has expressed. And even Coach Rivera, listening to the interview, I asked him, I said, what was the first thing he did? I said, the first thing he did is he went and he prayed. Yeah. And he said, you have to have a certain amount of peace as you go through this and for that extra strength. And it does not come from your own strength alone. So the team's rallying behind him, which is great. But also, Santana, you have a lot of people around the league that are rallying behind him as well, including some other head coaches.
Our team and organization, first of all, I want to send along our best wishes to Coach Rivera. Ron's been a good friend, and certainly a person that's, had a great career in the National Football League. He's a quality person, player, coach. And so just want to send our best wishes along to him, and hope for a speedy and complete recovery, and hope that he's doing well.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned about Coach Rivera and my time with him is that he's not just tough when you're winning. He's tough when you're losing too, and that's hard. I think your true character is shown in times of adversity, and he's the guy that we look to when things weren't going well, and he was always the same guy, always encouraging, and never changed. So I think that's a big thing as far as his toughness. And I know he's, like I said, not just him, but Stephanie and his whole family are going to handle this extremely well. And like I said, we all have his back. He's always had all our back. So, we all have his back, and, nothing but prayers and thoughts to him and his family.
One of the things that Rivera said is in his last staff, he didn't have a former head coach on it, and they wanted to make sure that they did this year, which is why they brought in Santana, Jack Del Rio. Should Rivera not be able to go, and should he have to step away, he feels that the team's going to be good in Del Rio's hands because he has plenty of experience at the position.
Yeah, Jack has plenty of experience. He was a coach for 12 years, I believe 9 years with the Jags, 3 years with the Raiders, and also he dealt with having to be an interim, head coach when he was up in Denver when John Fox had to step down. So it's great to see how he built this team around him, because you never know what you can go throughout the season, and we're seeing that right now firsthand.
Like he said, he made sure before he even talked to the team that a plan B was in place. Of course, he hopes to never have to go to a plan B. When we come back here, we're going to talk about the offensive side of the ball. We're going to take a little bit of a look into the running back room. Which RB could potentially be on the outside looking in? Stay with us.
This summer, it's time to get back outdoors. Your Honda dealer is open and ready to get you into a new Honda today. Enjoy the sunshine in the family-friendly Pilot or the rugged Passport. Visit the Honda Summer Clearance Event and get a great deal from Honda, KBB.com's 2020 Best Value Brand. Get a great deal on the Pilot at the Honda Summer Clearance Event today.
Miracles. What we deliver by delivering.
Washington Football Live on a Tuesday. The conditions are really nice. You see a good little breeze coming in. The sun is out, so the team is behind us practicing. A couple of moves, though, that were made over the weekend coming in here. Cody Latimer, they waived him. Of course, he got to trouble law, was on the commissioner's exempt list. Yeah. The team decided that they needed to move forward from him. He was brought in hopefully to add a little bit of depth and experience into that wide receiver room. And then Thaddeus Moss was waived as well. He's been dealing with an injury, and coach said he's never really fully to be able to commit or to be able to be out there in practice doing what he wants fully. And so it's just going to hold him back. They want to make sure that he gets healthy. So.
Yeah, it sucks for both of those guys, especially Thaddeus, and we had high hopes too for Latimer, but dealing with his circumstances, we understood it was going to be difficult. But with Thaddeus, you just wanted to see this guy have a chance, and hopefully if he can get over that injury, maybe he could come back and be on the IR or be on the practice squad. So we all pulling for him.
Be like a redshirt freshman year, basically. See if he can come back next season and contribute. Moving over to the running back room now. We're talking about how it's going to shape up. You kind of can't help but get excited because Adrian Peterson is still out there doing what he does at his age. You bring in a couple other players. You have J.D. McKissick, Peyton Barber, Bryce Love. But according to Cynthia Freeland,
I believe it's Freeland,
32nd in the league is what she says that they are going to be this season. So she has absolutely zero faith in the run game for them. Are you thinking? I mean, all right, they may struggle. And you have to take into factor the offensive line The offensive line may struggle, but does that mean they're 32nd?
As a player, I'm sure those guys, if this was brought up to them, they were like, okay, that's her opinion, and she get paid to do what she do because that's what she does. They have the last say-so of that. I scratch my head thinking about it because you have a guy like AP, you have other veterans on the team, Barber and McKissick, so you question that, saying, hey, with this veteran leadership, this should allow us at least be somewhere in the middle of the pack. I understand a lot of those things that I do believe where she gets that 32nd rating would be not particularly just on the running backs. I think she's looking at the guys in front also. So that leads me to question: Is she questioning the running backs as a whole, or is she questioning the front line and the backfield? So that would be something that I would question, why she come up with that particular rating.
And you do have Antonio Gibson. Now, whether or not he's able and ready to contribute on week 1, I think is a little bit of a question mark. But I do believe, by everything that we've seen and heard and seen from him, he could very well be their best back on the team once you get into the flow, into the rhythm. But Adrian Peterson is the oldest, the wisest, the future Hall of Famer, and he addressed how the RB room looks.
As far as the offense, I feel like the offense is, it's something that I'm really excited about. A lot of guys are excited about what they're asking us to do. We have some big roles in this offense. Being able to, spread a defense out and throw different looks. Really make it challenging for a defense to stop us. And I feel like with our skill set, the receiver position, the tight end position, quarterback, running backs, offensive line is looking good and shaping up as well. And, this running back room is incredible. We have so much talent, from, Antonio Gibson to JD to Peyton to Bryce. Like, all these guys are unique in their own way. And, just being out here and seeing them go through this offense where it presents opportunities for the running back to make plays, and sometimes having a couple of us out there on the field at the same time it's exciting to see. I'm just looking forward to here the next 3.5 weeks to get out there against someone that that we don't see every day and see how things look.
And the O's are presented by FedEx as we go deeper into the running back room. Like, Adrian Peterson, first off, is always going to encourage and build up the players that he has in that room with him. That's what you'd expect of a leader. But if you were in that room, you've even heard some guys say, like, Antonio Gibson, like, I can't believe I'm sitting next to Adrian Peterson and I'm being able to learn from him. The wisdom that you can get from somebody who's been able to do it consistently year in and year out.
I mean, it pays dividends, especially for those young guys. And, you don't even have to be a guy that's getting a lot of, back and forth from that guy. Just watching him do his due. I've been a guy, I told you before, I usually led by example. But when I saw something that should have been done differently, I was eager to get over there and give that guy an earful, because I understand that regardless of how long I'm here, you're going to have to do this by yourself, and you're going to need that because I got it, So therefore, I'm pretty sure that Adrian is sharing a lot of those gems with those guys, and it's only going to make that room better as a whole.
Coach pointed out him when I told you earlier in the day or in the show that Coach went off after one of the practices saying that they weren't doing good enough. He pointed out Adrian Peterson specifically and Thomas Davis Sr. on, if you want to know what it takes to be in this league, look at the examples that those two are setting. They're the vets on this team. They've been doing it for 16 and 14 years, and this is an opportunity for a lot of the younger guys to step up. Are they going to take it? What kind of an impact does Adrian Peterson have, though, if he doesn't have the ball in his hand?
Well, I think the impact he can show is just how, he's handling his business, watching and being that guy that's supporting brother or that supporting teammate. We're not always graded by what we do in between the lines when we have the ball. A lot of the times people's watching what we do when we're the decoy, when we're the guy on the sideline. And I think that's something that a veteran can show the younger guys how to take on their role. Folks fail to realize you don't always have to be the guy. If you understand your role and understand when you're going to be needed and you take on that role and do what's needed, then you can allow or help your team get to where they're trying to go. So I think all that could come into play, and these guys could just watch that and then say, hey, this is what I need to follow. Trust me, like I said before, I was a guy that followed a lot of guys. They didn't know I was following them, but I watched them, and I was a sponge, and I soaked it up. So I'm pretty sure these guys doing the same thing.
One of those guys that is watching what Adrian does and how he does it is Bryce Love, as he spent his rookie season coming back from injury, but is trying now to make an impression to say that he wants to spot having an impact on the offense. Here's Love.
AP, AP is AP. One of the biggest things with AP is, for how great he is, of course, and all the accomplishments and accolades is, how, cool and down to earth he actually is. And beyond that, you could say how he approaches week in and week out, how he approaches that and takes care of his body. I've gotten a lot of different exercises from him, used different tools, that he's put me on, different things like that. And Chris Thompson, the same kind of thing, seeing how he takes care of himself and how beloved, he is in this building and still is, all those different things. It's just so many different things that they brought to the level of showing what it meant to be a pro and, absorbing that in and taking it and applying it to myself.
Taking a look at where our running back room is. Early on, I had once asked how many running backs would they carry, and they said it could potentially be 5, depending how they use Antonio Gibson, if he's in the running back room or the receiving room. But we've talked with him, and he's since then spending most of his time in the running back room. Yeah. So there's going to be an odd man out here, yeah. Santana.
I can't quite tell you who's the guy. There's so many guys that I have in mind right now, but I would tell you my opinion, and just hey, trust me, the players have the last say so, but Barber stands out to me when it comes to just what, him and AP competing for the same role. I think both of those guys have the same intangibles, and when you look at all the other guys, they kind of make up what the coaches want to be their running back core. These guys can do many things out the backfield and also be great in third down. So that would be the guy I'm leaning on, or I'm not going to say I want to see him out, but I know, like I said before, the players have the last say so.
All right, well, it's still apparently it's going on like a bug came in, something to get my protein.
Behind our glass.
Well, look, it's going to be interesting because it still is relatively early in camp. There still is an opportunity for some of these guys to prove it. But yeah, if somebody's left out, you have to just question, like, what does Barber have compared to Adrian? Yeah. What does McKissick have compared to Love? And Antonio Gibson, they put too much into him this season. If he's healthy, he's ready to go. So we'll keep a close eye on this as the running back room does shape up as we go through camp. When we come back, we're going to find out what is trending. I'm going to take a break and have some water, folks.
Agua, please.
A moment of joy. A source of inspiration. An act of kindness, an old friend, a new beginning, some welcome relief, or a cause for celebration. What's inside? Possibilities. What we deliver by delivering.
This summer, get back in the driver's seat. Your Honda dealer is open and ready to get you into a new Honda today. Like the versatile HR-V or the fun-to-drive CR-V. Visit the Honda Summer Clearance Event and get a great deal from Honda, KBB.com's 2020 Best Value Brand. Get a great deal on the CR-V at the Honda Summer Clearance Event today.
Washington Football Live, Julie Donaldson, Santana Moss, and it is time to bring in the third member of our party, Logan Campbell, for What is Trending, presented by Bank of America.
Thanks, Julie. Well, the fans have been eating up the content that we've been putting out on our social media lately, so shout out to our social media team. But something that we put out that the fans are loving are our mic'd up videos. Over the weekend, we mic'd up Thomas Davis, and not only in this video did we see him being a great leader, but we also saw him being a great trash talker.
I don't even have to say it, though. You know y'all the fake Bulldog. There ain't no question about it. Hey, Coach, when you hear Bulldog in college football, who you think of? Thank you.
But listen though,
RB, don't nobody even know that.
If we was on that other side of the bracket, we'll be the real Bulldogs.
Boy, no, y'all wouldn't.
Real Bulldogs, to be honest with you.
Y'all some real trash is what y'all are. But y'all put players out though. Y'all put players out though.
So obviously from that video, you can gather that Thomas Davis went to University of Georgia, but another Mississippi State alum saw this video and was not happy with what was said. Washington football alum Fred Smoot had this to say back to Thomas Davis. Julian Santana, when I hear the word Bulldog, my mind just automatically thinks of University of Georgia. But hey, Fred Smoot and Montez Sweat put up a great argument, so you never know, maybe that'll change. But yesterday, the Washington football team put out this video that happened at practice that received a whole bunch of attention. You know, this is something we love to see. Dwayne Haskins to Terry McLaurin, boom, in the end zone. We love to see it. And look at all the hype and excitement. Obviously, this is a huge play, and honestly, one of the biggest plays that have happened in training camp so far, and this deserved all the love from his teammates. He had Darvin Kidsey, Steven Sims Jr., and even Cam Sims, just to name a few. Now, Ohio State also saw this video, and they posted a play from when Terry McLaurin and Dwayne Haskins played together at Ohio State, side by side with what happened at practice, and they basically are the same thing. Check it out.
Haskins lets it go. Touchdown, Terry McLaurin. Wow, this kid is special.
Now that Ohio State posted that video, it got even more attention, and one of the best wide receivers in the league, New Orleans Saints Michael Thomas, tweeted this at Terry McLaurin. This Dwayne Haskins to Terry McLaurin action is something that we all love to see. The Twitter world loves to see, the fans love to see, and hopefully this season, Julian Santana, we can expect to see a lot more of that.
All right, you like to see the fire, the competitiveness, but I would think something else was going on way before that play.
Yeah, that was true icing on the cake. That's the way to cap off a drive, and that's the first thing that led me to think that these guys had something going on throughout the practice. So I'm not sure if it was defense, offense, DBs, wide receivers, but I believe you this, that McLaurin showed y'all what was going on by that boot of the ball.
You like to see it, whatever fueled it. You want to see the guys have that passion and go for it, and we can't wait to see how many times Haskins and McLaurin will connect this upcoming season. We have our closing speech, our post-game speech when we come back here on Washington Football Live.
Miracles. What we deliver by delivering.
This summer, it's time to get back outdoors. Your Honda dealer is open and ready to get you into a new Honda today. Enjoy the sunshine in the family-friendly Pilot or the rugged Passport. Visit the Honda Summer Clearance Event and get a great deal from Honda, KBB.com's 2020 Best Value Brand. Get a great deal on the Pilot at the Honda Summer Clearance Event today.
And for our post-game speech after practice, as soon as they are off the field, head coach Rivera will be going to the podium, and then Chase Young. You can get those interviews on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, website, everything social media. Make sure you don't miss it. And then tonight, or today at 2:30, might as well be sometimes, Keith Ishmael is going to be joining me for that. So join us for our happy hour show. All right, Tana, another one in the books.
It's a wrap, Jules.
He's ready to get out of here. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.